freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead here and declare your independence with me, Ernest Hancock, and Ian Freeman from Liberty Radio Network. LRN.FM, and you can go there and check it out, and you go to the broadcasting, be a broadcaster or whatever, man, they got all kinds of goodies and a list of all the stuff you need. You can be your own radio station. So what we're going to talk about, some of the basics. If I am going to use a mixer, let me demonstrate, how to do that. Let's say, I'm talking about something, I'm the man, the TSA, I'm being all kinds of ornery and going to do whatever to you, and all of a sudden, the phone rings or something. You know what was that?
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see,
never gets old.
I know. See, I do a lot of shows sometimes that I'll rejoin. We do the audio comes in from the network going in and out, so we're not as creative in what we do with this, and we'll get to that. There's a lot of things that Ian and I work out, but the point is that if I do something with I'm doing movie clips, okay? I'm talking about various different things. There's always something in a movie. I love using movies because it's very effective in making a point. If you have a mixer, what you're mixing is you have a main signal that goes out, because what we're sending to the network and they broadcast, or what you're recording on your screen, you're recording a WAV file, or you're going to convert it to MP3, whatever you're recording. If you have one mic output, that's all you're getting is what's on the mic. You're going to have to play this on speakers behind you or something that doesn't sound good. With a mix,
or add it in post-production or something like that, which takes a lot of time.
Right, and you got to spend a lot. That's what we have with the video mixer here, too. You can do the same thing with video. So when I push on various different buttons, I'm going to different paid, I have 4 channels that I can show on there while we're recording this, and then I don't have to mix it later, and I just put it up. Now, on the audio, if I'm talking and I want to put something else in there, I can mix the signal together and it records live at one time, one file done. That is the benefit of a mixer. Also, when you go to these mixers, what you see is that they have 4 inputs for microphones to go in, so that when you're interviewing someone, like we're doing a remote with our Comrex access to the network, we have all these mics plugged in, they're all mixing, and we're talking to each other, and that one signal goes out that's broadcast. That's the benefit of a mixer. If you don't have a mixer, then you're going to have just one microphone and you talking, which you can do. I mean, it's a Skype thing, done. And then you can, sometimes some software and maybe Macs and such like that have some mixing capacity. You can bring in stuff from a website or playing a YouTube and you can talk over it. But a lot of times you're going to need 2 sound cards to do that, and you start getting into expenses and other things. So for $69, you can get a nice little mixer. You go Craigslist or eBay, you can get them even cheaper. And what he's talking about, which I wish I'd known and talked to you before, is this USB thing. That'd save me a whole bunch of wires. So anything you want to add to that?
Feature.
Well, what other?
You nailed it.
Yeah, so that's
things
a mixer
that you can do with a mixer. Right. Well, you talk about, of course, the low end of the mixers here, but we mentioned the 2 brands, Behringer, Alesis. I like those brands. They're cheap, to the point where they're so cheap, if it breaks, it ain't worth repairing. Just get another one. And honestly, over the years I've been doing Free Talk Live, I've had a couple of Alesis die on me, but the Behringer I have, the one I use right now, hasn't. Of course, I'm also still using an Alesis, and that one's been going good too, so you never know what you're going to get. But generally, these things work pretty well for a long time. I use the big Behringer, the Xenix 244. 2, I believe it is, which has something like 24 inputs or something like that. And I've got every single one of those inputs filled, Ernie. So, for me, I've got, 3 microphones. I've got different computers hooked up to this. I've got an ISDN. I've got a hotline. I've got all kinds of different audio codecs and different ways to, different elements, basically. But another important thing that you might add sooner rather than later to your mixer would be a phone connection, to where you would have this kind of this outboard, what they call a phone hybrid in the radio industry, and that allows you to hook up phone lines and take phone calls on the air, which can kind of take your show to the next level. Of course, you need to have people listening in order to call in, so that's an important hump to get over. But it would also allow you to record interviews, for instance.
Oh man,
so that's another thing you can do with a mixer.
Well, I have a Gettner, man. I'm up there, man. I'm good.
Yep, that's a radio professional brand. I know that the folks over at Broadcast Supply World have like a one-line hybrid. It's a little on the expensive side, though, so these are things that are a little more advanced.
Yeah, the Gettner system is what we have here. I mean, I'm not doing another phone system, man. That was enough getting that thing in. And you'll see in the graphic there, the phone up there. It is. I'm putting up a frame up here, a JPEG that you can see. The Gettner system is made for doing exactly what Ian's talking about, but it has so many parts to it. You got a rack unit, you got the phone system, you do it. The only reason that we don't use it more is that, it's my show, I get to talk. But but that's how we have our guests come in. We do that and we can control that and so on. But you're saying that there is a mechanism by which you can have a regular phone that goes into the mixer, or you get a mixer that has a phone capacity? How's that work?
No. No, just you'd get a phone hybrid like you have, the Gettner, or I've got a Telos brand. These are radio professional brands. There are also, again, cheaper ones that'll only handle like one phone line. But if you're going to do that, maybe Skype would work, or maybe there'd be some other options. Maybe there's something else out there. I don't know. Or you and I are kind of these old broadcast guys, and we are still steeped in our world of broadcasting and our professional equipment. Honestly, I don't know what you'd find if you went out and you looked for some sort of low-budget phone interface. I know they must exist because there are a lot of podcasters out there. So maybe in a list of possible podcasting equipment, you could find some sort of a low-budget option for an outboard phone unit, essentially.
Well, I'll tell you what Mark
into
does.
Your mixer.
Mark does something that's kind of interesting. What he does is there are services on the internet that he can see them calling in, and it goes in through his computer system here somehow, and he sends it out to the network with you guys. It comes just through the...
Yeah, I think that's Free Conference Pro or something like that.
Yeah,
I believe
and
that's what he's using.
Well, he can see the area code they're calling from and, whatever. So he's got some kind of software that allows him to do that. So if you're doing it on the cheap and you just want to do a show, the mixer is a good idea. I mean, that allows you to do a lot of creative things with audio and to have, a guest in, another microphone. And let's go ahead and do that.
It's going to be you're going to need to have that too. I mean, down the line, if you're going to keep doing it, which that's the point, right? You keep doing it rather than quitting. If you're going to keep doing it, you're going to want a mixer down the line anyway. Start with an entry level, but eventually you're going to find yourself wanting more inputs because you're going to think of other things you're going to want to put on there.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about the next thing is a microphone. I mean, that may be even the first thing. I mean, you can have do like Stefan does, man. He just got a headset. Let's just yak it. Or you just have a microphone that records, and they're getting better and better quality. I have the microphone that I use is a SR70, whatever the heck it is. I don't remember. It's they're drum mics, for rock bands and so on. You got all their mics on it, and their quality they're good because they pick up the bass and so on. They're good for voice. They're probably the least expensive you can do and have a quality sound.
Is it the SM58?
Yeah,
sure. That's a really popular mic.
Right.
And that's about $100. But if you want to go on the cheap for mics, just to get the ball rolling, Behringer sells a 3-pack of microphones for $30 at Broadcast Supply World. I mean, they're so cheap you can just, if one breaks, no big deal, get another one.
I got this one microphone up on the screen now. It's very nice, looks all professional and everything. You go, ooh, how expensive is that? $69. Okay?
Yeah.
This mic I'm showing you now, $69. You can get some nice mics. Now, of course, they go up. They can be start at like $300, $1,500. Alex Jones probably a couple thousand. We'll be right back.